and let me share my screen. Hope you can able to see my screen and you can able to hear, right? Yeah, thank you. It's a day 2. Day 2. Let's have a quick recap last session what we have discussed. Then we'll talk about some technical today, right? So we have discussed yesterday is the begin of the day, and to understanding of Azure concept or cloud concept, we have discussed the fundamental things. What are the prerequisites? What is the roadmap of to learn these cloud technologies? Okay, what would be the job role in cloud technologies, right? And how we can start it, and basically other competitor, what are other cloud technologies are there, which is AWS and GCP, Google Cloud Platform. And what is cloud? We discussed the definition of that over the internet, access any resources and manage it, or you can configure it, right? This cloud is not new to the current market or current environment. It's already been older days we used to use for the email and everything as a software as a service. Uh, and now that is in all the third options called as a infrastructure as a services. We have to manage for the infrastructure, which is having for all on-premises server, is a server networking, storage, everything. Now the vendor, the Microsoft or Amazon or Google Cloud, these people are trying to provide a service called as a infrastructure. Then we need to learn from that. Is whoever administrators are there, we have to learn for the cloud technologies to support centrally to access all the resources over the internet, all on premises whatever we are using, we will be support for those. But to do that one, we have to understand that what is Azure, what kind of certifications are there, what kind of uh, course name is are there. We discuss for the fundamental and 104, which we are going to talk about, and solution architect for the 304 and 305. And for the certification preparation, we need to follow these 5 areas. We need to concentrate on that, which we discussed yesterday. And we have talked about lab, how to register the lab, how to get that is in your portal access, right? And subscription part we have discussed. Free account will be there, pay as you go will be there. And the portal will be that is in azure.portal.com. So this is what we have discussed in the recap for the last session. And today what we are going to talk about some technical stuffs, right? Technical stuff, which is take one of the service example, which is uh, let's have the presentation, which is going to open for that. Okay, just I'm going to open this presentation. Right. So 01 presentation. Let's see that is in what is the topic we are going to talk about. Okay. So the most first session is it would be is a Module 01 administrator identity. Okay. So what is the administrator and identity? It's basically Azure Active Directory, right? So what is that is an identity and why we need to have that is in require this. We will be going to talk about in Azure, the first module called as a administrator identity introduction. In this course or in this topic, we are going to talk about the first one is configure Azure Active Directory, configure users and groups, and lab what we are. This is completely made for in a Microsoft. We will be going to cover as per the Microsoft recommendation. Remember this Azure Active Directory benefit and features, Azure AD concept, Azure and compared to Active Directory domain services and Azure Active Directory. So basically we should have some concept, so some understanding that in on-premises Active Directory, you might have heard about on-premises Active Directory, how it works. And when you compare to that is in on-premises Active Directory, and you need to know that it's Azure Active Directory. On-premises Active Directory to install, you don't need internet, right? We don't need internet. But in Azure AD, we should have that internet. We must have internet, right? But without internet, you won't be able to access the portal itself, right? But in an on-premises Active Directory, you don't require to the internet. You just build a one physical server, and in that server, you can plan it. You can build it directly. Okay, so this is the one difference majorly. Second one is basically both the common word is Active Directory, right? Both the common word is Active Directory. So this Active Directory can be used in on-premises, and you can use the Azure. Basically, what purpose we need to have Active Directory? We need to use Active Directory, which is you should understand that is in identity. It's an identity for authentication and authorization. These two major concepts required for an Azure AD, because any user trying to log in, this user trying to accessing any resources, he must able to authenticate first, right? He has to authenticate it. He has to provide your username and password. Once it is authenticated, then you have to be access any of the resources, and that resources you need to have authorized. Okay, authorized, it means you should have that is an access to authorized. So basically any of the over the internet or on premises Active Directory, you want to log in first, you must have a Active Directory user, right? You must have a Active Directory users, and that user must be created in Active Directory, that username and password, and you are allowing them to log in on the particular devices. So for to do login, you should have that is in username and password, which is identity, right? Basically, you know, there is a corporate company, right? Does any one persons can go in inside directly? This is your corporate company, right? Or any of the office, which is authorized office. Can unknown person can enter this campus? Unknown persons can enter the campus. Who will stop here? He will not be able to. He will not be able to go inside, right? Because you should show here who are you first. The security will ask you, right? Security will ask you, who are you? Why are you going to inside? So you have to show some identity, right? I'm a I'm an employee, or you should show some ID card, badge, right? Should there is an identity, right? The security will ask you, who are you? You have to give some identity saying that is an I'm a part of employer, I'm a guest user, I'm a whatever that is an identity you have to be showcased first. Then yes, once the identity is verified, then you will be allowed to go inside, which is called as a authentication. You have authenticated. Then once you enter this campus, there is a multi-floor office. Do we have access to all the floor by default? No. And wherever you have a access, there only you will have a entrance. That is called as a authorization. You won't be able to access entire floor, right? So you don't have authorized. You are not only you can see some board, authorized persons only allowed, right? Authorized persons only allowed. So in Azure Active Directory, we should understand that is in what is identity. Identity means you should have some identity, username, password. Once username, password you have logged in, you must have access to access the resources. So by default, as we discussed yesterday, you have created an account and you have logged in with your job Azure portal. You have created is a part of subscription, free subscription. You have created that account. That account is a part of your default Azure Active Directory. Remember, the account which you created for Azure portal access. So it must be part of default directory account. That username must be updated in default directory account. Remember how it will be. You can just log in with your portal. Log in with the portal. You can see the portal name called as a portal.azure.com. So you are going to log in with one of the account. You can see now the first account, whatever you have created, it should be by default a part of your Azure, that is Azure Active Directory, that is called as a default directory account. Remember, that is a default directory account. Now you can see here. Now the account I have logged in here, srismi.gmail.com. So you can see when you go to this option, Azure Active Directory is a by default services, Azure Active Directory. That default directory is open. The default directory is open. In the default directory, you can see the primary domain is created with the sri.gmail.on-microsoft.com and the name called as a default directory. And it's a completely free. Azure AD is a free. So it means by default that account has been authenticated and it's a part of your Active Directory. So now how do I create my own user Azure AD? How do I create a users? And how do I add the permissions to group? And those are the users are belongs to which domain. By default, it should be the domain name called as on Microsoft.com. So whatever Azure user you're going to create it, Azure users you are creating, it should be part of on Microsoft.com. So if you comparison with the on-premises Active Directory and Azure Active Directory, as I told you, you need to have a internet. You don't need an internet. Again, the communication channel for security you are going to use here in on-premises AD, which is Kerberos, authenticate, the protocol called as a Kerberos, and NTLM. And for Azure AD authentication, you are going to use a SML. And the communication channel you are using for here, LDAP protocol is a LDAP for the query in on-premises. But here you are going to use the Azure AD is communicating through internet, means that you need to have a HTTP and HTTPS. The most important. So whatever you query, you are going to do the Active Directory protocol called as LDAP, and security managing this guy Kerberos and NTLM, and you don't need internet. Here Azure AD you must need internet, and you need a SML, other authentications protocol are there, and you can have a communication channel called as a HTTP and HTTPS. Now just to go through this presentation for this part. Now you can see describe that is in Active Directory benefits and feature. You should understand that is in benefits. You can integrate with the many services like Office 65, multi-factor authentication. You can do it. When you do the multi-factor authentication, you can also do it for the same Azure AD part only, where you can see that is in Azure AD. There is options called as a. There is options called as a. You can just go to the users, and you want to be MFA you want to do, you can use for that is in particular one of the user you want to do that is in MFA, you can do it. Select particular user, you can go to the user MFA, and it will ask you that is in what kind of MFA you need, multi-factor authentication you need it. You can give either text, either sending the message, or you can go into, maybe you are using the call, right? You want to have a call, right? And sending that is OTP kind of number, whichever you want to be, you can enable it. Say for example is test. You want to use for there is in bulk, you can also use the bulk, and single user you can use a single user, right? You can say you're going to manage user setting or you want to enable it. It will tell you that is in what kind of about enabling multi-factor authentication. Please use the development. It has been already. If you haven't already, you can use it. Enable multi-factor authentication. It will ask you update successful. So when that user is going to log in, right, it will ask you, you want to have a text or you want to have a so this user, when you logged into the, right, it will ask you for, it say you can say enabled, right? So it will ask you that is during login, it is been MFA enabled. You need to set up the configuration saying that is in either you want to have a call or you want to have a text, you can do it. So that can be done when you are logging that one. I'll show you that how to do that, all these things. Let's talk about this few topic in this. Describe the Azure concept. We will talk about comparison this and Azure Active Directory editions, how you need to join that is in domain. As we talk about commercial as traditional Active Directory, on-premise Active Directory, we are joining the computer, right? Which is as a member server we are going to do. How we are going to do in Azure Active Directory, all we are going to talk about. Let's see here. This is the main important as a part of the describing. You can see this is on-premises Windows Server Active Directory. Authentication, as I told you, Kerberos and NTLM. And you are creating a users and groups. As I said, authentication and authorization. Authentication means what? Authorization means what? First you need to authenticate, then you need to authorize. Authenticate means you need to log in, username, password. Authorize means you need to access the resources. Now this is a Azure AD, right? This is Azure AD. So this is on-premises Active Directory you required for the this is a security protocol authentication, and you're going to accessing. But here Azure Active Directory, your authentication for using the SAML, Oath, Open ID, WS Federation, these are all using for the security channel. But since it is a over the internet you're accessing, you need to have that HTTP and HTTPS, and you will be going to integrate it for the Office 365 Azure apps and Azure resources. This is the main difference comparatively Azure AD and on-premises AD. Hope you're getting what I'm trying to explaining, guys. Right now you can see concept of that is in Azure AD. It is a identity you need to have that is in an object that can be authenticated. Yes, once that object is created, it should be authenticated. Account, an identity that has data associated with. By default, that account has in associated with our Azure Active Directory account. By default, whatever the user you login, the email ID is created and registered for first time account, that account must be part of Azure AD only by default, which is called as a default directory. And Azure AD account, an identity created through Azure AD or another Microsoft Cloud Services, a dedicated and a trusted instance of Azure AD tenant is, we can also call it as a tenant, is automatically created when your organization, you can see this is first time when you do that is automatically is going to create it. Your organization sign up for the Microsoft Cloud Service subscription. And additional instance of Azure AD can be created. Additional users groups you can be created. Azure AD is under product providing identity. Ultimately, it should be having identity. Who are you? Right? First, you need to provide the credential, username, password. The term tenant means it's a single instance. Azure AD representing single organization, one organizations. You can create a multiple organizations purpose in Azure AD. The terms tenant and directory are often used interchangeable. So these are all required for basic things required are majorly and important required for the without Azure AD account, you will not be able to log in. So you must need to understand where it is coming, how the Azure Active Directory works. And Azure subscription used to pay for the Azure cloud services. It's the most important. It's basically it should be like that. The Azure AD is a pay for cloud. Now your account will be part of your default directory, and the default directory is Azure AD and is part of the subscription. And this subscription will be part of your billing. The billing always read with your subscription. The subscription under what account is there? Is a default directory account. Inside which user and what kind of access he is using. Those are all is going to be enable the billing part. Now compare its Active Directory domain services and to Azure Active Directory. You can see the most important. Azure AD is a primarily is an identity solution and designed for the HTTPS and HTTP communications. As I told you, it is needed for HTTP and HTTPS communication channel because it's required for the internet access. Now queried using the REST API over HTTP and HTTP instead of LDAP. LDAP is a on-premises Active Directory, but HTTP and HTTP is going to query with the help of the API interface. That is HTTP and HTTP is required. And use HTTP and HTTP's protocols such as this HTTP and HTTP as using for SAML for the security, for the authentication purpose. In the on-premises authentication, you need a Kerberos, right? But here, the protocol using for SAML, SAML, WS Federation, OpenID, Oath Connect for the authentication, and Oath authorization. OpenID Connect for authentication and Auth for the authorization. See, this is one of the most important interview. The questions ask, okay, in Azure Active Directory, what is the security protocol for authentication and for authorization? So we should understand that is in the Oath is a authorization and others SAML, WS Federation and OpenID Connect for the authentication. instead of the Kerberos. Kerberos is a using for on-premises Active Directory. Kerberos we are not going to use it in a Azure AD. Includes federation services and many third-party services such as Facebook. All are authenticated automatically. You don't need a username password. It's already authenticated, right? Yes or no? That is called a multi-factor authentication has been already enabled. And so once it's already password is given, your mobile devices or laptop devices, you can access those services without again providing the password. Those all by default enabled in integrated with your Azure Active Directory. So Azure AD users and groups are created in a flat structure and there is no organizational units or group policy. In a traditional Active Directory, we are using for the operations perspective, users, groups, OU delegation, group policies. But in Azure AD, you can use for only two components, that is called as users and group, but not for OU delegation, group policy. These are all we're not going to use in Azure Active Directory. You're getting my point what I'm talking about? All right. Now you can see. Now there is a structure of Active Directory editions. So by default, how much objects can be supported? You want to take a premium one, which is a paid one, and what kind of additional services will be enabled. If you see here, the free account which we are going to start that journey, Azure account, it should be free. Around 5 lakh objects can be created, right? The free one, 5 lakh objects can be created. And Microsoft 365 apps, when you purchase for the premium Microsoft Office 65, there is no limit of that user creation. And same things for the premium one and premium two, both two. And additionally, you need to have other services for the premium and premium one. You need to configure that is in on-premises Active Directory to replicate to the Azure Active Directory. That time you need to have that is in premium one. And there is a big concept, it's a big configurations part for Azure on Active Directory, on-premise Active Directory. You on-premise Active Directory you want to connect for the Azure AD or whatever the existing users are there, on-premises AD users are there, all it must be sync to the Azure AD, then it will be having a lot of challenges. But we should aware of the steps what we are going to talk about or what we're going to do that. Single sign-on, it's a by default enabled in a free account. It is unlimited, and others also been unlimited because that amount has been covered by in a previous service what we have given. And other, these are all core identity access, P2P collaboration identity access. These are all has a features, and this will be not available or not required for other service also, Office 65 Premium and Premium 2. So you want to join that Active Directory to the client machine. It's a simple steps. You can go to the My Computer properties. It must be required for that is in your computer should not be in any of the domain. And second one is your computer must be enabled to log in. Your computer must be authenticated for the to the Azure resources to access. Then only you can able to access, which is access to the Microsoft site of for business and a restriction for the access and apps from the only compliant and devices. So ultimately your device must be in a part of domain, how we can manage for the Azure AD. So you can also do for the self-service password, which is to get the self-service password reset, you will have to be enabled for the premium one. It won't have the default one service for this, but you need to be enable the premium one, then only you will be able to self password reset can be done. You know, any password you reset it and or something you forget it, you will be going to contact to the help desk. But now whom you're going to calling? If you don't have the help desk, whom you're going to calling, that we can also set for our own. If that user should have a access to reset the password, this is options. You see, you can also require for the user's request for the multi-factor authentication as well. So if you're creating a user and adding that is in members, you can see here. Go to the portal. Now you can see now you can see you want to create a user here, you can create a user, and this user you can give anything name here, create a user, single user, like domain user created, right? How we can create, you can see here, create a user. Now you can see something. If I give the Neel, and by default is going to take a domain name, Sri Gmail dot your domain name by default. Okay. Now the moment I give the username here, right? This is a name. I can just give that name. Full name is tech. Username is Neel. Last name. Just say. Now you can also create that user auto generate password. If you want, you can auto generate password, or you can say, let me create a password. Also give that options to portal. He will create it. You can create up the password. Now you can see there is one more important groups and role. I don't have any groups by default, and role is a user, simple user. It doesn't have same things we are going to create an active directory as a domain user. So same, this guy is only users. And also you can restrict particular location you want to be blocked. Okay, the block sign in. So you have the couple of regions are there. Those particular region you want to block, you can block it, saying that is in block sign in. By default is a no. You want to enable, you can enable it, say yes. So keep the default to no one only. And you want to enable, then you can select for the particular region one only. And job info, you can say something IT, architect. You can give that is in department for the optional option. Okay, company IT example. Now just go and create it. I can say I'm just going to create a one user. This is a username Neel, right? So this Neel user has any of the permissions for this? You don't see any of the permission, right? Can you see that assigned role? What assigned is this guy's role? No, nothing is there. Right? Once he logged in, does he can perform anything? Try it. You can just log in this profile. You can take this complete path, copy. Now you can see, go to the Azure portal again. Now use the different account. Now I can give the username. What your username created now. I can give the password. Now it will ask you that is in change the password, current password, and confirm the password. Sign in. Now once I logged in, do you have any access to do? Just try it. Can you have access to create a users, create a machine, and join the computer? Do you have any access? You don't have any access. Now you can see you logged in with your Neel user. Now if you go to this options home, do we have any options here? Now go to these options, go to that is in VM, virtual machines, sorry, virtual network. Go to the virtual machines. Now you can see you don't have options to create at all. It will ask you that is in go ahead for the free trial, go ahead for the manage Azure Active Directory, go ahead for the but you don't have access to do anything now. But to provide the access, what you need to do, you need to log in here, just say assigned role, right? You can just click the add assignment. Now you can see you can add assignment role here. What kind of you have the access? All there is assignment role will be there. Whichever relevant you can add it. Say for example, you want to join the domain, that permissions you required, you can do, you can use it. There are many groups are there, those roles are there, you can add it, what kind of access you need it. Now you can say reset administrator, reset Power BI, offline apps administrator, printer administrator, everything that assignment role will be there. Then you can see that is in how to join the domain. Those you can search it here. Okay, Azure AD join devices. You can have this access. You can just add it for providing the permissions to the particular user. Once you provided, you can see that is an assignment. What kind of access you have? You can see the list out here. Now you can see this user is having a this kind of assignment role. So then he will be performed for the design joining the domain on your organizations, right? Again, when you go to that is in review for in Azure AD, you can just go back to the Azure AD here. You can find it, users, Azure Active Directory. Go to the users. Now find that is in you want to be enabled for that is multi-factor authentication, or you can just select for this user, and you should be having a default access and default permissions role. Now you can see whatever you fill the detail department, architect, manager, employee ID, right? And user location, everything is in place. Just update for that. And this user you want to have a multi-factor authentication also can be enabled. Go to the default directory, click on the user and select for the which user you want. Neel. You can see the job info and settings, everything has been updated. Contact info, nothing is there. Now you want to use that is in multi-factor authentication. You can select for the particular user, Neel, and you can say enable it. So once it's enabled, so once you're going to log in with other, okay, other one is just you log out. Now you can see you have provided for the Azure AD access, but now when you're trying to log in, it should ask for the MFA. That MFA we have given already, right? Let's come back. Sign out. Log in this account. Now you can see this account has been enabled for MFA. Then you need to type your username password. Then it will ask you, can see, can give the password. Then the MFA it is going to be enabled now. Now you can see the more information required. Your organization needs more information. Keep your account secure. So what you want to do, you can go to the use different account. Not different account, you can use for the different method. Okay. Okay. Use different account. You can use the same account only and then go to the next. Then it will ask you for the reason what kind of authentications you are going to follow. You want to have a message, you can see. So the Microsoft Authenticator, keep your account secure, and on your phone, install the Microsoft Authenticated app. Download now, or I want to use a different map authenticated. Now set up your account. Next. Now you can see either you can do the QR code or you don't want to, you can just go back and different authenticate. I want to set up different method. What method you want to do? I want to have a phone. Okay, confirm it. So you need to provide the number here, which is Indian one, India, and give the number and login. You want to send a text code as also be possible. I can see next. The message will come in this mobile. Only the message is gone to the mobile. Let me check the messages came or not. The message will come here. Yeah, I received a message, right? Yeah, 647410. See, this is a MFA. I have enabled this user. I have to be configured. Okay, see that SMS verified and you have successfully logged in. You have to log in with this. Next. Phone is verified and you want to also do the app, you can also do it. Now, as of now, we have logged in with the phone only. You can go to the email as well, confirm, send an email, info@. Next. The email will be sent here. Now you can see this is the email. Now you will be getting this email. Now you can got the email here. So this is your for the Neel what we have configured now. So this is how we need to be individually authenticating, right? For your accessing, just paste it. Then next, phone we verified, email also verified, right? Both were successful, then go and done it. So this is a Same as a part of Azure Active Directory, how you need to create a user and how you need to be enable the MFA, right? These are all you are going to be login. Now you can see now you logged in with MFA. But do we have access to do anything? Do you have any access to do anything? Nothing, right? You can go to the all resources. You can go to the virtual machine. When you click the virtual machine, do you have access to create? It will asking you for, you don't have a subscription. You don't have access, but you want to do access, you have to add a permissions. You need to add a role assignment, right? So this is all about you need to learn for how that Azure Active Directory. Come back for this your presentation. You can see that is in what is there in that. Okay, manage devices identity. So we created a users now, and we have enabled that is in MFA, and we have checked it, and we have logged in with the two multi-factor authentication. We have created users, right? You want to create a bulk user also, you can create that bulk users as a Excel sheet or reporting, you can add it. Some administrator task you can also add as a assignment role, right? These are all process to do for how authenticated all is going to do. That's all. The first presentation is done. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Rakesh, Palani, Nasis, Adzar. This is all about for first session is a free session. We have discussed how Azure Active Directory works and what you mean by identity, what you mean by authorization, what is the difference between Azure AD and on-premises AD. Hope you understood the concept. If you have any question, feel free to raise your hand. Then I will give the access for the unmute yourself, then you can speak. And if you're really interested to join this course, we are going to start coming Saturday on 26th of March. The course fees is very minimal. Duration is also be 36 to 40 hours. Yeah. Palani, go ahead and speak yourself. Unmute yourself and speak.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
What is the timing? You said almost is a 3 hours. I agree, but it's a morning session or a evening session. What would be the time?
It will be probably in 11:30 timing for Azure, and the Windows Server we are going to start for the evening time. We still not yet confirm, but I will keep update you if you're really interested. It will be probably on Monday, I mean morning only, Saturday morning and Sunday morning, 11:30 timing.
11:30 to 2:30.
Correct. 11:30 to 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30. Correct. In between, you have one small break.
Okay.
Yeah,
Understood.
that can be done. And 36 to 40 hours course duration, and you will be going to complete end to end. Ultimately, the after completion of the course, you should have confident on that. Yes, your profile should be or your skill should be Azure Active Directory. Sorry, Azure Associate Cloud Administrator.
And the very next week itself, we can able to write the examinations.
Yes. Don't take next week. You can just plan, read the dumps. I'll give the dumps, and you can test yourself by giving an exam, a demo exam, right? So once you are confident, take 2-3 week time, prepare it, study it, then you can go ahead registration for exam.
Is there any time limit for to conduct the exam, or every week the examinations are going like that?
Yeah, every day is going on exam. Every day.
Right.
It's not only
Okay.
for every week. When you go
Okay.
to this, right, Azure portal, when Microsoft portal, okay, Azure, or you can see AZ-104.
Okay.
AZ-104.
If we completed with the AZ-104, the fundamental is not required, right?
Not required, but is for AZ-104 is required for the fundamental. As such, we assumption that you have that knowledge on that. That is a recommendation. Okay.
Mandatory, right?
Yeah,
To have
exactly.
a
Yes.
things, right?
Yes.
So if we have a AZ-104, it's enough for that, right? What we
Correct.
should.
Enough that. You can say AZ-104 exam. if you type this, right, this is directly redirect into the Microsoft portal. Now this is here is a $165, right? If you can schedule the exam here, AZ-104
Passing
Microsoft
score is
Azure
70.
Administrator.
Okay, passing score is 70, right?
Yes, passing score is 70, correct. So as I
Out of
told you, you have to have a there is a 5 areas, and those 5 areas you need to be prepared proper. These 5 areas. Okay, I'm just giving you which areas is asking you how much percentage. So you need to prepare accordingly. Then and the question will also come accordingly like that. You can plan it. This you need to process for the examination and book it.
okay.
Okay, good.
Okay. Okay. I'll let you know by WhatsApp, Neil.
Please ping me and yeah, let me know the decision. Fees is
Recording
very
sessions also can be,
sorry.
because actually I'm not joining this timing today.
Mhm.
So will you be able to send the recording sessions
I will
to
share.
me, right?
I'll share. I'll
Yeah,
share.
yeah.
I'll share. I'll share. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
Rakesh.
appreciate your support because you're taking your valuable time
Thank
to
you. Thank you. Yeah.
share it.
Thank,
Yesterday also I thought to share, but unfortunately I couldn't unmute myself.
yeah. No
So
worries.
anyway, yeah.
Thanks. Thanks
Thank
for
you
learning.
for.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Rakesh, go ahead.
Hi, Neil sir. Actually, you said upon the the examination and 165 USD dollar.
Correct.
How many attempt we can
One
try?
attempt
It's only there is one attempt, right?
because
And
it is it's a Microsoft. Sometime you will have some offer options in the month of December, which I know.
mhm.
Uh, that time you want registered, you will have a second attempt free. If you failed in the first attempt, you can also same amount, same registration can be done for
Yeah,
second attempt.
yeah. Because in very past career, we used to use a second attempt, and we have
Correct, correct,
already did
correct,
this
correct.
one.
Yeah,
I
in
remember.
yeah, yeah. Even
Yeah.
I did it in a server Windows 2012 when I did it. I got that is in second attempt as well.
Yeah, yeah. Your teaching line is like very from the scratch itself. I gone through all this pain and all, and you very the simply and taking very point to point and step by steps you are taking. It's too good.
Yeah,
Sir,
thank you.
I'll definitely join this course, but I need some time because my shift schedule is like even I'm Saturday Sundays I'm working,
Oh,
and
okay, okay.
three and my I'm having a 12-hour shift in a day, even
Oh,
night and day shift. There are two shifts are there, so I need to
mm,
manage my time accordingly. So I doesn't getting the time at least after 12 hours. So I just gone through the the website, and it's shown the time, how much there is a 2 3 batches available.
correct,
So
correct.
it's very it's not I will
Flexible, that flexible will be there. We will work on it, Rakesh. We will plan it
yeah,
accordingly.
yeah, 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 yeah. Sure, sure. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Good, good.
And
Yeah,
one more question, sir. Are
go
you
ahead.
going to manage all the points with the Azure one? And so creating the container and network part and
Yes, yes, yes.
the
See,
backup and all.
yeah, you can see here what we have updated, right? There's a 5 areas, right?
Mhm.
These are all we are going to talk about. The first today we are talked about identity as governance, right? In this identity governance, we have one more slide is there. Okay, so
Okay.
just we have talked about this first slide, and we will have same things. And each topic you have the three slides. We will talk about with practical and theory.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you
Because I'm
should.
currently working on the Azure, but this is the basic like with the
Yeah,
limited
yes.
access from the company. So I'm not that much confident.
Don't
So
worry, don't worry. But what I can
yeah.
suggest here, first you register the free account, use that
Mhm.
1 month, then later let it be the pay as you go. So do whatever all the labs we have given and as per Microsoft, and get confident with your own account. Don't use a
Okay.
production what your company account.
Okay.
Okay, that will have a lot
Okay.
of confidence to use. And with current experience and your current study, then you can prepare the profile and you can start looking job saying that is in full-fledged cloud administrator, and you will have a good package as well. You will get
Yeah,
a good
Nil sir. Thank
package.
you so much. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you so much. Thanks.
plan.
I'll get back to you on that.
Please. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Rakesh.
Yeah.
Anybody has any question? Good to go. So this session I have recorded already. So if you still have any question, reach out to me anytime over the WhatsApp and call. And thanks for your time also for during this weekdays Monday. I supposed to start the session for on Saturday Sunday. Due to time constraint, I could not manage for on Saturday. So yesterday I have given for the one session, and today is also one session. As promised, I have given the two free demo session or a free session from the my side. And if you are really interested to complete the continue the training, then you can plan it. Yeah, plan. Go ahead. Ask your question.
No. I just clapped. Some.
Okay. Hey, thank you so much. So yeah, so this is from my side. Basically, this intention to uh, schedule this training free because people are spending a lot of money without knowing anything, and just wanted to give from my side as a little contributed to people know. First, let them understand what it is and how it is. Then I'll take a very minimal fees, not for like market what the people are charging, because I'm spending time to you guys. So ultimately you should happy and you should feel yes it's a worth for training and whatever I paid the money and I got it the knowledge. If you feel like that, then I'm good that. So that is the intention. I have started this training session is my own company as well. Yeah, I'm working. Also, I'm working. Also, my shift is start second shift 5 o'clock. So that's what I got a time for today, Monday, to schedule and 4 to 5 classes. All right. So thank you so much, sir. Once again, if you don't have any question, then we'll wind up today. And if you're really interested, please reach out to me on my WhatsApp. Is already given in this banner. This number, you please contact. Don't contact for second number that doesn't have a WhatsApp. And yeah, happy learning. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Bye.